So we're going to be looking at players under 500,000 coins that you should be considering in your team. We've gone with an array from the budget, and we've kind of gone with different positions. Other than really the goalkeepers, I never really need to go over the goalkeepers that much. Courtois, Alisson, Edison. If you want to throw a bone out at Oblak or go for like a Ter Stegen, that's fair enough. Then you could even throw in a cheeky bit of the icons. I believe Casillas would fall in this budget. I don't think Van der Sar does as of yet. Schmeichel does as well, but I've been more than comfortable with Courtois, so there's not really a need as much. But during the Thunderstruck promo, we have had some solid upgrades. Isaac being one of them. I don't believe anybody has had their upgrades as of yet. We'll be able to look at the tracker after Isaac, but I don't think anybody's scored 6-0 or 6 goals and 1-2 in one game, so I'm pretty sure everybody's still at that point. The team that is the closest from what I remember is Arsenal, scoring 5 goals in the first half and not managing to get that 6th. But looking at Isaac in general, 313, finesse shot plus, fantastic, 5-star, 4-star. It's a cracking upgrade from what we wanted from this card. He's an 88 rated now with a potential of 89, some outstanding characteristics. He's tall at 6'4". He can be controlled lengthy with a sniper on him if you wanted, but I can imagine a lot of people are going to go for either the basic, the hunter, the engine. They are going to be the ones that everybody's going to be looking at. So if you went with a basic, you've got a 90 rated striker. You go with a hunter, you've got 91 with the pace and shooting being increased. And then you could throw the engine for a bit more agility balance. But I mean, I would probably be looking at the hunter or probably just a basic. I don't think you need to go out with the engine, in my opinion. He's got a wonderful array of stats that will work effortlessly. So if we were to look at the tracker, because I'm pretty sure we can go upgrades only. No one's got there. So we've obviously seen some losses, and Zidane's Juve, in fact, as well. They've actually got the associated. Nice. Okay, so we can see a few of them, because I don't know if we've got too many in there. Milan for Hullet, Udinese for Zico. Okay. What about the other icons? Obviously Bayern. If you need coins in FC25, lootbar.gg has you covered. They are the cheapest trading platform on the game. From the 28th of November to the 2nd of December, if you buy coins and use the code JT11 at checkout, there is a chance that you could get a 10% coupon during this time to use on your next order. With the fastest delivery system going, used by many FC25 creators such as Zorki, Manny Plus, and even pro owners. So if you need any coins, head over to lootbar.gg, make sure JT11's in the promo code, and hopefully you enjoy. I mean, fair enough. So they haven't quite updated that one. Obviously, then we've got him. We've got Marseille for Jarzinho. Arsenal for Smith, obviously. Man U for Wayne Rooney. He's got 4 goals, so only needing 2. But that is going to be against Arsenal, so it's going to be an interesting one. Obviously, Saliba and Saka both being in there. What are the icons? We've got Arsenal for Vieira. Standard. Real Madrid for Herrero. Parma for Thuram. Okay, very nice. Barcelona for Riquelme. Chelsea for Desai. Very nice. And then I think there's a couple more. Liverpool is for Barnes. Liverpool also for Rush as well. Is there any lower ones now? I'm pretty sure we've got 3-0 for Rangers as well, which is nice. We've got Milan for Gattuso. Man U for obviously Keane. Chelsea for our bit of Cole. And I think then we're going to the lower end. Don't think there's going to be any more icons. No. So that's kind of it for them. Also, they are in no particular order. We've obviously got Patry up next at 291. Phenomenal upgrade in terms of what you're getting, 291k. Considering what SBCs we've got out, it's relatively cheap. We've got multiple million coin SBCs, so having one under the 500k mark is a little bit refreshing. And with the long ball plus, with the increase of stats that she's got, she is a fan favorite. Everybody likes her with that long ball plus, with the ability to defend as well. I think she could really hold up a midfield, and if you're running a Spanish Liga F or Barcelona team, she could be one put in there very nicely with the anchor on top. 86, 93, 86, now giving her just that little bit more of defensive duties, which is just perfect to have in the team. So I think she is an absolute must SBC, and also a very, very good player under that 500k mark. And then we're looking at the likes of Gabriel, solid centre-back, obviously with the aerial plus. He's going to be a mixture of centre-backs that we've got in this list because there is so many choices that you can go with. Aerial plus seems to be one of the fan favourites. I think Virgil will always be that number one centre-back, but to be fair, with the kind of upgrades we're getting, and the fact that his upgrade, other than the inform that's coming today, is just so expensive. So picking a cheaper card might be the way forward for a lot of people if you want to get out of the gold Virgil. And especially with the aerial pluses we're getting on some people, it's pretty understandable. But he is a phenomenal one for the value that you're looking at. We then throw in a bit of Kolo Muani, lovely card in himself, very much like Isaac was desperate for that upgrade. He's been given the quick step plus, which I personally do like. Obviously with strikers, you're looking at finesse, Travella, power shot. They're obviously going to be the ones that you really want to have on him, but I will absolutely take a quick step at the minimum. Him at his size is going to be fantastic with it. The only difference is with Kolo Muani being 6'2", he hasn't got the controlled lengthy or pure lengthy, so you're kind of having to really gauge on that quick step, which Mbappe normally has as well. He has got a lovely agility balance boost as well, 6 and 11 on there. Composure's pretty decent, shooting's fantastic as well. Obviously everybody's going to go with the finishing rather than the hunter because he already has maxed out pace at 93, and really going with a hunter, making him the 99 is fantastic. But putting that finisher on him, 98 on the agility, 88 balance, is going to be absolutely wonderful. And overall, a 92 rated striker for what, 280,000 isn't terrible. Will he get the upgrade as well? Casemiro, another SBC. I think some of them have hit that budget that is really nice. It kind of a little bit outweighed the fact that Patri's got her upgrade because realistically, she is just as good. I think she's got a little bit more pace, but got the holding plus, which is going to be fantastic. And he does have that long ball plus as well. So if you was to do a little comparison, it would be technically easier to get Casemiro on the link because obviously there's going to be more Premier League players in your team. But when we look at the kind of individual stats, 80 versus 82, shooting I'm not too fussed about, passing very similar, dribbling is where Patrick really kind of takes the cake there. Like you kind of look at the dribbling between them two. You got a massive agility balance bonus there, reactions is the same, ball control is considerably better, dribbling is considerably better, and then obviously composure is very similar. So Patrick kind of did take his thunder a little bit, but I still think he is a wonderful option if you're not necessarily able to link a Patrick into the main side. So just at an extra. Throwing in another SBC. We seem to have nothing but SBCs at the minute. We've got Nunez. Now he's only got a couple more days left. You've got 4 days to get him done. 211k, and he is a wonderful striker. Just like Kolo Muani, but you can finish an SBC. Great pace, great quick step, great shooting, physicality's on him, brilliant. The only thing is the agility balance isn't quite as good, but he does have that controlled lengthy, which is a possibility to use in the kind of upfront zone. So for me, I think he's absolutely brilliant there. Obviously, you're going to go for the finisher, which does make him controlled, which is a bit of a shame, but you could also just go stuff it. Let's go and whack a hunter on him or something. Max out the pace, get him the shooting, and keep him controlled lengthy, or even go and add a hawk on him or something and go with the physicality bonus and make him mostly lengthy, depending on what your preference of kind of acceleration type's going to be. That could be a great striker for you to have. Liao, another great option. I know he has got an 88. I don't think he had any evolution. Oh no, he did have an evolution boost. He could have a little bit more on the physicality, shooting, or passing. I think the pace one didn't give him anything, obviously. So you can obviously go for the shooting boost, or could have gone for the shooting boost with him, which from a gold card, I'll absolutely take. He's one of them kind of only, I think there's 9 gold cards left that are over 100k. So coming in at that budget, I think he'd be about number 6 judging 200k. Obviously Mbappe, Vini, Teo Hernandez are going to be above him. But I think for the price that he is, he's got to have something. 4-star, 5-star, which is always perfect. You add anything onto him, I think you're going to be looking more towards a finisher. And I think that's where if he was to go at him, so for instance, we look at him here, 86.93. If you was to build that extra shooting bonus onto him, then if we went into the player stats and did the exact same and added a finisher on him, you're looking at 92.93. Like as a gold card, just off a free evolution, that would be fantastic to have. A great overall boost to not necessarily go too high up on everything else, but having that ability to have that shooting just like walloped up there at 92 is going to be fantastic. And I think for free evolution as well, you're not going to get much better. So I think he is one of them cards you can have a look at. Might not be everybody's cup of tea, but always worth a looking at a minimum. We have got Peugeot's SBC as well. The problem with it, I put her in here because she's very cheap. 148 is really not that bad. But the 3-star weak foot is a bit of a killer with her, unfortunately. I like the rapid. I think she's a great striker. She's got wonderful pace and kind of agility balance there. But that 3-star weak foot is the only thing that I wish she could kind of upgrade. Now, taking the risk and finishing the SBC with all of the upgrades that we have got, and then potentially hoping we do get like a non-overall 1 weak foot upgrade, which we have had in the past, so it's not uncommon that we won't get it, but just having that ability to be able to get that extra bonus would be brilliant for her. I didn't even realize you could click the tracker here, but that's fantastic from Footbin. You've got the play styles. Okay, I can kind of see. I didn't even realize, obviously, play styles used to be here, so you can kind of see what they've got everywhere. Okay, I'll give it. Footbin did pretty well with that one. Then obviously we've got Inaki Williams. I absolutely love him on the wing. Obviously for him, he could have had into the pitch predator, which would have given him a little bit of shooting and passing. Nothing crazy, but does give him that lovely power shot plus if you wanted him there. Anything with a rapid plus would be, or quick step plus, would be perfect for him because down the wing, he is rapid. Now, the SBC has expired for him. We more than likely will end up with a gamble SBC at some point, which more than likely, a year in review pick that could potentially get him. And an evolution naturally, like Lamar as such, will come out for him. We then throw in a bit of Tomori, another great centre-back with some lovely stats. For him, he could have gone into a couple of evolutions, mainly for the passing and then also the physicality, which again, I think is a great one for him because just adding that little bit extra, it's not necessarily a crazy amount like what we're getting, a +3, but for just one upgrade, he's not really going to get too much else anyway because his pace is already crazy for a centre-back. The only thing you could really hope for is maybe a roll ++ more so than anything, and that's kind of where we're looking at. Let's graph first. Okay, stats and then graph. Nice, I like it. So in terms of a centre-back, he's, again, one of them like Gabriel that could be pushed into the better sort of side. And with the anchor does become mostly lengthy as well and is a 91 overall centre-back, which is always lovely to look at. Hansen, still incredible, one of the better gold cards as we know. She's one that I completely forgot, so maybe Liao could be number 7 because we've got obviously Mbappe with over 1 million or over a couple of million still, I think. You then got Vinny, you've then got Teo, and then I'd probably say Hansen's after that because I'm pretty sure Teo's just a little bit more expensive. So Hansen's coming in with some massive prices, but the 5-5, the wing play, especially now with a Patry SBC and also having Putier's SBC, which has gone now, is a great link that you could have got, and she is wonderful on the ball. Trickster's not necessarily my great kind of fan of, but kind of is what it is. You're going to have to go for that at some point. And then obviously with the Ballon d'Or card, she was absolutely excellent. So if she does get into the team of the year, which I think she should do, that's going to be a wonderful card to see. Van de Ven, another centre-back. Like we said, big one for him is that he needs a playstyle plus now. Now, obviously, he could get a couple in his previous versions. You obviously could get block, jockey, pinged pass, which not necessarily my style. 82, I don't know if that could get any more. I think it's all pretty much the same at the moment. If you did go to the evolution builder, we could have had Rapid, which, no thank you. I don't think we could have Bruiser was the other one. I was going to say, I don't think we can get Aerial or our, what am I thinking? Anticipate as of yet. We've only had a few upgrades that have been for any centre-back of this sort of magnitude. So, again, another great player that you can get. Even throwing in the 86, you could just absolutely kill it with him. He's got the pace, the defending physical's there, slightly getting more on that composure and get a bit more dribbling passing, which is nice. He is definitely going to be a centre-back to look towards the end of the game because he's going to be rocking the stats everywhere, especially if he does get that double play style plus. One that has been popping off left, right and centre for upgrades. I can imagine there's going to be a lot of people that have upgraded this base card at some point. The 87 in itself is a nice one. He's obviously managed to get a 3-0 victory already, so it just needs one more win and 3 more goals in the remaining 4, which should be possible for Milan. We'll get into the 88 with extra play styles and also roles, which is nice. He has got the Playmaker plus, which is fantastic. Tiki Taka, it's okay. He didn't have anything prior, so you could have potentially put him into an incisive pass, I can imagine. We've got Relentless. I don't know if we've got the incisive still, but I can imagine he more than likely had the opportunity for one at some point there with the 83, and then you could just put that into something else and just throw him into a few different ones. So he has had many opportunities for an upgrade that could have potentially put him into that next sort of level. If we went there, and then say if we went for the 85, if we go 3 upgrades, and then we've got one more into the 86, so we go there, and then we could throw him into one more, you could literally make a stunner of a card like that. That is a pretty decent upgrade. It requires you to have done all of these, so whether you'd have had that foresight is a very big if and buts, and if you had all of them evolutions still, but that is the level of kind of where we're at. Greasy, you've always got to respect. Love a bit of Griezmann. 88 rated on his base version. Had a bit of an upgrade, so it's not necessarily a crazy one, but he still held his price, which is lovely. What does that do? Add to watch list. Download card image. I'm interested. Where does that go? Okay, so downloads the... Okay, that's pretty interesting. So in terms of him in general, love the finesse shot. I think it works wonderfully in the game. In terms of him, he's a very specific build because he's not necessarily somebody that is just going to run onto everything. He's got to get ball to feet every now and then. But if you can find him outside the box with a bit of open space, very much like Son, like Martinez, like... who else have we got? There was another finesse shot. I think there's another finesse shot in here, so I won't spoil him just yet. I think it was Raul, in fact. The finesse shot is great outside the box, or just in if you can. And if you can get him into them zones, he's going to smash it every time. So for the price that you're paying, and obviously French La Liga, it's going to be a wonderful link to an Mbappe. We then also have got Jamie. Beautiful card. It's a great upgrade for him. He has managed to get an upgrade so far already, a +1. I can't remember what each of these get, so if they do manage to get the 10.16s and qualify, obviously the win is a bit extra bonus there, but I mean, regardless, small footsteps. I think even just looking at this card is still wonderful. 93 on the pace, managing to get the shooting, then obviously the passing and the dribbling as well. He's a very, very nice, affordable card that you can get for the wing. Obviously then moving up a little bit more to Tchouaméni. He's coming in a bit more expensive, but he is a solid DM. Absolutely brilliant. His 85 has managed to get a few evolutions, nothing too crazy I don't think, because of obviously his stats are still pretty decent across the board if we can go into this. Obviously you could make him into the 86. I think you've managed in 87 at that point, so you're kind of at that sort of level at the moment that is decent enough, but he's not necessarily at that 88 level. And even then the stats are not necessarily like that impressive. You can definitely find a lot of CDMs that are kind of worth it, but I have seen a lot of people use him in centre back. Again, I don't know how well he can truly play that role. He has no role plus there, but he does seem pretty competent in that role as well, which is always nice to have that variety if you need it. Theo Hernandez, 378, just a little bit more than Hansen. Obviously coming in with some great stats, great building himself, and being that expensive, that kind of late onto the game already. Like we've said, 9 gold cards are remaining at that 100k. 8 in the next week, I can imagine, because Salah's at 106, so he will drop down very soon. That is still very incredible. He's got the Bruiser Plus, the 4-star, 3-star, and skill move to weak foot. Would be nice to have an extra weak foot, but I mean, we have got multiple versions. Granted, none of them have got the 4-star weak foot yet, but he's still a great left back, especially if you are looking to link a Leao, a Reyners, or anything like that. The Serie A build is going to start with him being there. Diaz, one that I think has been kind of just left alone really at this point. 390 with the lovely Trailblazers. He is a very nice card. I liked his gold card to begin with. I think he had that very much starter card vibe, kind of being that left wing. Obviously Rashford does take a lot of kind of highlights out of the left mid, because obviously he does get into the evolutions pretty quickly, being only, what, 81, 82 rated to start with. So with Diaz, he's not necessarily going to get too much, but having that pace already, they're not going to upgrade him within the first couple of weeks, whereas Rashford, they did give him, well, he already had the power shot, so that was already a 1 step above, and then after that you kind of then just waiting for the upgrade. We got an inform, which was okay but wasn't worth the extra coins back then, but now we got the technical, little bit better on the stats, obviously still having the 4-4, could have upped the 5-star skiller, but I can imagine he will end up with an upgrade again at some point that's worth looking at. Nay, we have got two big ones here with a total rush. We obviously got Neymar and Ronaldo, 390 on both of them. Neymar probably being under Ronaldo in my opinion, but I think in terms of a dribbler, somebody who's going to carry the ball forward, Neymar is always going to be incredible for that. I think Ronaldinho, even though Ronaldinho is definitely a little bit better at this point from his base, even so, I definitely think there is more efficient, kind of more better priced left wings than a Ronaldinho or back in the day Neymar. But it is just their dribbling type. It just is very, very nice. They have their own animation when dribbling, their own animation when skilling, and it just works effortlessly. And I think it just does more to you when you do it with a Neymar or Ronaldinho. So they are worth having a look at a minimum. Obviously, Ronaldo is always fantastic. He did get an inform, which is a little bit cheaper. Stats-wise, not actually that far off, to be fair. He's got the power shot still. This version's still the 4.5, which is still fine. No 5.5, which is fine in itself. I think the 86 could have gone into an evolution because he did have the pace upgrade for the speed burst, but you could not buy Ronaldo off the market. He was so expensive. But if it was to look at that and then go kind of what we're looking at, hunter, finisher sort of vibe, you could actually get a pretty decent Ronaldo from that. Like, we're looking at a 90 overall, 95 pace, 93. If we're looking in comparison, I know the stats across the board is going to be better for the total rush. Obviously, the 98 composure is going to be a big bonus that you're going to get. So you whack a hunter on him here. This is kind of what we're looking at. It's controlled lengthy, 92, 96. Great dribbling stats on that composure. Agility balance could do with some work, but this is the start of him. The reason why I put Raul in here is obviously he does have an SBC, and I think looking back at him now, I know a lot of people said just do the icon SBC, but I'm like, realistically, the chances of getting Raul out of how many players that you've got in there is very, very slim. So I would suggest definitely having a look at the kind of base version as maybe a buying option before you do the SBC, and maybe look at Vinny first. But I do think he is still a fantastic striker, as he was last year as well. He kind of just popped up out of nowhere. Normally Raul was just very basic, and I think that came down to having the base mid prime. After kind of bringing them all together, it just made him into a much better starter card than what his base card would have had. We then have Gusto, always like him. He's going to be one for the future more so than anything. I think he's a great right back right now, but with the potential that Chelsea can just floor the Conference League. He has got the potential for the Playstyle Plus, another upgrade, and naturally it's going to take a little bit of time, but he has got that ability right now, and maybe the price goes up as the upgrades happen. I know we kind of hit that peak already, but whether they do go up as he does get the wins to get to that final upgrade could be very interesting, because as we know, they've got to just finish in the top 2 leagues now to get that extra Playstyle Plus, which for me, depending on the Playstyle Plus, could really change this card. Obviously then we're looking at a bit of Elise, going back to almost a brand new card with a good French Bayern Munich team. Obviously, Bundesliga is relatively cheap across the board because there's not necessarily a full team of meta right now, but there is definitely different sparks in there. Even throwing in, I know not a player, but a hero in Lizarazu in there, you can start to see where a team could build and almost end up with a French team, but still has that possibility to go up. Bayern Munich do need to kind of pull their trousers back up to get some of the goals. They need 5 more in the remaining 4, but also needing 2 more wins, as obviously they did draw to Dortmund. But I feel like they'll be fine. I really don't see there being a problem. But a great winger on the side, especially with that cutting on the left foot, very much like Salah and himself, and even a bit of Saka as well. And then we kind of blast through the remainders. We've obviously got Zambrotta. Doesn't really need too much explanation. He's a great right back. He's one of the best you can get. Obviously quite an expensive one, but other than kind of some of the really, really top end price, this is the sort of level that you could look at a right back and think that could last me quite a considerable amount of time. We then have Valverde. I'd personally just spring for the gold version if I'm you. 185k. I don't think the one upgrade is going to make that much of a difference. Obviously, the Thunderstruck is much better, mainly for the 4-4, but we're just looking at a kind of under 500k here. So gold Valverde is an absolute must as well. Ramirez, I think with the upgrade in the Heroic Rise, if you've managed to get him untradeable, I wouldn't necessarily go out and buy him right now. And I'm very tempted to say not to do this, but if you've got a Ramirez and got 100k spare, I mean, it's a nice upgrade for him. The question is when does the next one come out? That's the big problem. This is the first hero upgrade we've had specifically for heroes. I do think it is absolutely trash that you've got to pay for this, because it really isn't that good of an upgrade. But if you have got one of the better heroes that does finish in it, then at least it could be worth having a look at a minimum. And then finally we finish off with Barella, 458,000. Great Serie A centre mid. And like I said, if you've got Leao already, you've got Teo already, and then maybe you've got like a Bastoni or a Bremer in there, you could throw him in and be absolutely sound. He's a great, solid centre mid. Couple of role pluses and a half winger role plus, and there is some extra roles coming in. I don't know if they're going to either replace or be added to cards. I can imagine they're going to be added to new cards, and that's where they kind of add cards which are just a one upgrade, but they've got the new role plus in. So it will be interesting regardless. So let me know if you've got any of them players. Is there anybody else under that budget that you wanted to see? Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you for the next one. Peace.